The final Smash Direct just got released and it revealed many exciting news, most notably the remaining newcomers, DLC confirmation for even more newcomers, and finally another story mode. Yes, there's so much I could talk about, but for this video I just want to focus on the newcomers that have been added to the roster and what I think about each of them. It's fitting since the game is out next month and I'm super excited to play it. I'll probably make a video where I rank the newcomers after I've tried them, but that video might take a while to come out because I'll be lost in the game for quite a while. Some things to note about Ultimate's roster of newcomers is that it's smaller than in previous games, which makes sense since they literally added every veteran. Because of this and other blatant factors, this is probably my least favorite cast of newcomers. DLC characters might change that, especially if those include favorable characters like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, Banjo-Kazooie, Conker, Hat Kid or Rayman, but I'll keep my expectations in check. That's something people failed to do with this direct, since many believed the Grinch leak that was shown beforehand. I admit that it looked very convincing, but you can't just blindly believe leaks. I thought Artsy Omni taught us that with his highly convincing Rayman leak. With that out of the way, let me give out my thoughts on these newcomers. The Inklings were obviously the first characters to be revealed, as they were literally in the announcement trailer for the game. They were shown before any of the Smash Directs too, which makes sense since Splatoon is one of Nintendo's newest hits. I played the first Splatoon and while it was decent, it didn't really hook me and I found it rather repetitive. Despite this, I'm happy about the Inklings' inclusion, as they fit perfectly and look fun to use. They have quick movements and pack a varied arsenal of items, and I love the attention to detail that comes with them. You can ink enemies to deal greater damage to them, and when you run out of ink, you actually have to refill by turning into a squid on an inked surface. The different colors for each skin is also a nice touch. I'm very much looking forward to play as the Inklings, and they're some of the best newcomers in the Smash installment. I might not like the franchise they're from, but like they say, hate the game, not the player. The Inklings get a hype rating of 8. Daisy isn't the first clone to ever exist in Smash, but she was the first clone to be titled Echo Fighter, which is still a clone but slightly tweaked from its counterpart. Daisy's counterpart is obviously Peach, and personally, I'm not the biggest fan of her. It's nice that Daisy incorporates Peach's most notable attribute, that being the floating mechanic, and I like the ass attack too, but otherwise she's not anything to be excited about. I'm not bothered by her inclusion, and I do prefer her design over Peach's, but she's still a pretty tame newcomer. Daisy gets a hype rating of 3. Ridley. The character Sakurai never added to the game because of his size. Well, apparently size doesn't matter anymore, which is actually quite fortunate because Ridley is a welcome addition, both because of his legacy and because he looks fun to play as. I'm not that big into big characters, because I prefer my movement to be fast, but Ridley looks good for what he is and is a beast on the battlefield. Okay, he did get wrecked by Bayonetta in that tournament match, but what do you expect? It's Bayonetta, who's top tier, and she was played by a professional player who has used her for a long time. Items also helped her, so Ridley being able to strip her of one stock is pretty impressive. On another note, his final Smash looks absolutely awesome, and might be the best out of all the newcomers. Ridley gets a hype rating of 7. Simon Belmont is the only third-party newcomer, if we discount Echo Fighters, and while he's not the third-party character I was hoping for, he does look like a good character to play as. Since he's from a popular series like Castlevania, he more than deserves to be finally featured in Smash. I haven't played the games, but I did see the show, which was pretty decent, and Simon Belmont was a cool character. His moveset in Smash is pretty varied and his fighting style looks really good. I like how they added the move where he dangles his whip, and it actually repels projectiles, so it's not only hilarious, but it's useful as well. Simon Belmont gets a hype rating of 7. Okay, so Simon Belmont definitely deserved to be represented, but I'm not so sure about Richter though. I mean, since he's an Echo Fighter, it didn't take too long to put him in. But still, he's an Echo Fighter, and of a newcomer no less, who is by the way a third-party character, so the addition doesn't make much sense to me. It would have been cooler to see Dracula as a fighter, or even that skeleton guy that killed Luigi in the trailer, but I guess that would have taken a while. You can tell I'm mixed about Richter. He gets bonus points for being a new character, but also minus points for being based off of another new character. Richter Belmont gets a hype rating of 5. Fire Emblem is really popular nowadays. So popular in fact that it has been overrepresented in Smash. It's not even a truly big Nintendo franchise like Mario, Zelda or Pokemon, so it's pretty odd that this is the case. It already had 6 fighters in Smash, and now they add another one who is a damn Echo Fighter too. That being said, I much prefer Chrom over Lucina. In fact, I'm actually slightly excited for Chrom because he's based off of Roy, who I greatly enjoy, and takes a few moves from Ike, who I really like. He's a completely unnecessary addition to the roster, but at least he's similar to fighters that are already great, so he's the Echo Fighter I'm looking the most forward to. Chrom gets a hype rating of 5. Ridley was a great addition from the Metroid series that kind of needed to happen at some point. Dark Samus, on the other hand, is just another Echo Fighter, and of a character I'm not that fond of. I love Zero Suit Samus, but regular Samus just feels wonky to me. I will say that Dark Samus's design looks cool, but it's still not as cool as Samus's own blue costume, so that doesn't really matter. There's not much else to say really, I'm just not excited for this one. Dark Samus gets a hype rating of 3. Even though I haven't played the Donkey Kong games much, I do know a bit about the series from reviews and other stuff related to it, so I knew some things about King K. Rool beforehand, and I appreciate the attention to detail in his moveset, like his boxing gloves, cannonballs, and crown throwing attack. He has a really cool counter too, and I usually don't like those. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm not a big fan of slow and heavy characters, but King K. Rool's moveset looks so fun and unique that I look forward to playing as him regardless. Besides, most of these newcomers haven't been very good anyway, so I'll take all the proper newcomers I can get. It's nice to have another villain in the Smash roster too, which the series used to lack. King K. Rool gets a hype rating of 8. I called King K. Rool a proper newcomer, but Isabelle doesn't really seem like one, despite not being titled an Echo Fighter. Fake news, anyone? She borrows a lot of similar moves to villagers, so she's kind of an Echo in that regard, but I suppose she differentiates more than the others. Still, I was let down by her reveal, but more so because I didn't want her to join the game in the first place. It's nice that Animal Crossing got another rep, but even so, she ranks low on my hype spectrum. Isabelle gets a hype rating of 3. Great, another Echo Fighter, but luckily it's the last one. Ryu is a pretty decent character, but I couldn't care less about the addition of Ken. I'm not into Street Fighter in general, so that's not surprising. By the way, Street Fighter is another third-party franchise, so it's weird that it has 2 fighters, and since it's Capcom, they have 3 representatives in Smash now, including Mega Man. You'd think Sonic would get more characters instead, but oh well, not like I was hoping for them either. I do like Ken's final smashes, but that's about it. He's not very hype otherwise. I give Ken a hype rating of 3. We're finally past all the negativity, because I really like these 2 final newcomers. Out of every single newcomer, Incineroar is the only character I have a strong personal attachment to. I usually went with fire starters in Pokemon because I found them the coolest, even though firefighting types got repetitive. Incineroar looks like a fighting type, but he's actually dark, so that's nice. I picked Litten as my starter in Pokemon Sun, obviously because his name contains Lit, but also because he would eventually turn into the awesome looking wrestling tiger known as Incineroar. He's not my favorite Pokemon, and there are hundreds of other options from the series, but I wasn't disappointed with his inclusion, because I did grow an attachment to him in Pokemon Sun, and he makes so much sense to be featured in Smash. Like I said, he looks like a wrestler and he's a starter from the current Pokemon generation. So of course he got prioritized over Pokemon like Swampert, Alex. His moveset is very unique, especially his absorption belt and the one where he throws someone into wrestling ropes. He even has a suplex move and his final smash looks awesome. I'm very satisfied with this newcomer and I look forward to trying him out. Incineroar gets a hype rating of 8. Finally, there's the joke character, Piranha Plant, and as random as this addition is, it's an incredible one. At first, I was a bit upset that they decided to add him instead of other more deserving Mario characters like Waluigi and whoever the hell Genos is, but when I saw him fight, I slowly changed my mind because he looks absolutely amazing to play as. First of all, he has quick movement, secondly, he has great attacks, including one that has insanely long reach, and third, he just looks super graceful while fighting. Just look at that running animation, not to mention that recovery, it's beautiful! Piranha Plant is the newcomer I never knew I wanted until I saw it in action, and I never thought I'd say this, but it's the newcomer I'm the most excited for. Its playstyle has convinced me that it has the potential to become top 10 material, which is no easy feat. It's unfortunate that it doesn't get added until a few months after the game's launch, but I'm pretty sure it will be worth the wait. Many were disappointed with Piranha Plant, who was prioritized over many other characters that were highly requested, but I'm completely content with it. Take it or leave it, but Piranha Plant gets a hype rating of 10, he just looks so fun. So, as you probably noticed, I don't care for a lot of these newcomers. I only look forward to half of them, and even then they don't look that good compared to most of the previous newcomers, besides Piranha Plant of course. Smash 4 had a pretty strong lineup, even though just one of them entered my top 10, and Brawl contains most of my favorite characters. Luckily, there are DLC fighters to look forward to, and I bet they will be consistently better, which shouldn't take much. Anyways, that's it for now. I can't wait to get my hands on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and explore its newcomers, along with its many other features, especially that story mode. I'm really excited about that. I'm Arcadon, and hopefully you'll see me next time!